Happy Friday, ladies and gentlemen, Allincrypto here, and welcome back, guys, for what is going to be nothing short of another jam-packed daily market update with yours truly. And we've got some pretty exciting news to be diving into. Yesterday, we looked at what appeared to be the failure to meet the deadline for the SEC's appeal of the Ripple, Brad, and Chris case. We've got some clarity on that. Of course, we looked at some takes from the likes of Jeremy Hogan and some of the people who have been following the case closely and that are themselves lawyers and attorneys. So we will be starting the video off there, sort of looking at some of the clarity that we've got in regards to all of this. There's also some really good news in relation to it all, as within the case, they've made it very clear that what is not being appealed is the status of XRP being a non-security. So we will be diving into that to start the video off. We're going to be talking about voting within the United States. And there was a survey done that shows 1 in 7 people, or 16% of respondents in the survey by the Digital Chamber, said they'd vote for the most pro-crypto candidate. So you can see why both sides of the aisle have sort of came out and become very pro-crypto. We probably don't do ourselves any favors by saying that we're probably more for Trump, in my own personal opinion. That doesn't mean that I hate everybody that votes for Harris, by the way. And people need to stop looking at somebody having a differing opinion to theirs as their enemy, because you'll get nowhere in regards to that. But very interesting. Also, I watched a clip of Trump. We've got the BRICS nations trying to do their own thing. I watched a clip of Trump also talking about that if other countries don't want to use the US dollar, they'll put 100% sort of tax or tariff on them. And you've got to remember, Bitcoin is very interesting. Bitcoin's kind of came about to challenge the dollar and its status. And you've got pro-president or pro-crypto candidates that are running for president. And ultimately, the dollar is a staple part of America's empire. It's very interesting. So we'll be looking at that, not spending too much time on it. We're going to be talking about ETF inflows. Across the board, we are seeing accumulations and large accounts when it comes to Bitcoin specifically gobble up the supply. And the Bitcoin ETFs have now crossed over a $200 billion mark in regards to total net flows. The most important number, most difficult metric to grow in the ETF world, for the first time after a huge week of a $1.5 billion. For context, it took gold ETF about 5 years to reach the same numbers. Total assets now 65 billion. Also a high watermark. So we are seeing those inflows return. We've got news that the likes of Morgan Stanley have now revealed their Bitcoin holdings in regards to the ETF. BlackRock just last week bought over $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. We're going to be looking at exchange reserves in relation to Bitcoin. And then we're going to be talking about the markets broadly, looking at Bitcoin, looking at total market caps, looking at altcoins. I feel there's a kind of victim that's been made out of many people that have been crypto investors over the past year or so, certainly in the altcoin market. I'm predominantly in the altcoin market. I think a lot of people don't believe that this altcoin bull market is going to happen. We're on the opposite side of the spectrum. We've given our sort of timeline for how long we think this bull market is going to take to play out. And I don't think you're seeing really anything out of the ordinary. The only thing really out of the ordinary is Bitcoin going on and making a high pre-halving, which I think is more of a bullish thing than a bearish thing. But we will perhaps talk about that in a little bit more detail and kind of comfort people in relation to the altcoin market. So as promised, let's start things off. Yesterday, we looked at the fact that there was speculation that the SEC's appeal of the Ripple, Brad, and Chris case may not actually have been filed correctly, and this might result in a dismissal of the appeal. Now, we did look at a take. Jeremy Hogan weighed in on this himself, and that was what the source we were reporting from. But we did also look at an individual saying that even if they miss it, it's the SEC. They'll probably make a special sort of allowance for them. It's very unlikely they're going to throw out the case just because they failed to file it. SEC is a joke. And the thing is, even in regards to them filing that appeal, they've got to pay a $505 fine, which seems like nothing in regards to the millions that they waste. But that comes out of your pocket. You know, they're kind of funded entirely by your tax earnings, which is only going to go up. You're only going to get taxed more and more, I'm afraid, ladies and gentlemen. We looked at that horrific news for our Italian brothers and sisters. in relation to the 42% tax rise from 26% in regards to Bitcoin. And I think it will apply more broadly for digital assets. I think we've got a similar thing, unfortunately, coming here in the UK. What a sinking ship we are here. And I'm increasingly speaking, as a little side note here, to more and more individuals who are starting to really swing towards one direction, and this one. So this will be the opposite. And you're going to see when you swing something really far left, it will often swing some, really far right. And there's going to be some interesting things coming in the UK. But just stick to the topic at hand. SEC non-appeal on XRP security status. So this is from Jeremy Hogan. We looked at his response yesterday. I've never been so excited to get a C since I was in high school math. Oof. What is not being appealed? The XRP is not a security. So that they're not looking to appeal that. What is being appealed? Ripple sale of XRP on exchanges and the use of XRP as a kind of payment. What does novo mean? It means the appellate court is ruling on the pure issue of law and doesn't have to differ to the trial court on the law issue. What I don't like, the SEC completely flooded or folded when it had the opportunity to actually try the case against Garlinghouse and Larson in front of a jury. And now is trying to bring those claims back to life. Chicken move, in my opinion. Bark, bark. What I like, this appeal is about money. The injunction could change if Ripple were to lose, but only indirectly as to order compliance. So they have now, by the looks of things, filed. There was news. Who was the individual reporting on this? The SEC has filed its Form C detailing issues they plan to seek appeal in the Ripple case. Those issues are Ripple's programmatic sale of XRP on digital asset trading platforms, Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson's alleged aiding and abetting of those. Let's continue on here. Of those programmatic sales of digital assets on the platforms, Brad and Chris's personal offer and sale of XRP, Ripple's distribution of XRP to employees. They are not appealing the monetary penalty of 125 million or Judge Torres' decision to not grant disgorgement. So this is interesting. So they have now, I feel it was a slim chance that the whole thing was going to get thrown out and them not sort of coming to the rescue in time. Stuart Adultery, of course, chiming in here. No surprise here. Once again, it's made clear the court's rulings that XRP is not a security. So great news. Something big's coming for XRP, guys. Mark my words on that. Let's move on. Right now, we are heading into an election in the United States. This was interesting. So this is from Walter Bloomberg. US has 26 million strong crypto voting bloc ahead of election survey. About 4 in 10 black voters say crypto is either very or extremely important when it comes to deciding who they will vote for in 2024 presidential election. 1 in 7 or 16% of respondents in the survey by the Digital Chamber said they'd vote for the most pro-crypto candidate. So this is a large 20% of the vote, 4 out of 10 black voters. This is a large amount of people that are actually kind of single issue voters and voting based on crypto. And you can kind of understand, and certainly the campaigns will know this, that's why the campaigns have perhaps come out as in favor of crypto as they have. Whether they truly believe it or not, I find, even though, like I say, I'm probably leaning more towards Trump, definitely leaning more towards Trump, in fact. And we're not doing ourselves any favors by saying that. That's just my own personal opinion. You guys can disagree with it, and we totally implore you to do so. But even still, when he comes out and makes statements like, if you're going to use anything other than the US dollar to do trade, we're going to give you 100% increase on tax. America is very much America because it has that dollar status and it has the biggest tech companies in the world. So you've got to sort of say, okay, well, if he's that zealous on protecting the dollar and its role globally, Where does Bitcoin find itself in that puzzle? It's kind of like BlackRock promoting Bitcoin and using a slide of the US dollar decline to back the case for Bitcoin, whilst all the sort of libertarians out there say, or supposed libertarians out there say, this is about toppling over BlackRock and the institutions, whilst BlackRock literally are using it to their advantage. So this is interesting. I just thought I'd share this. We also know in terms of actual capital raised, there's a hell of a lot of donations given by the crypto community. Next little bit of news I've got for you. This is in relation to the ETFs. The Bitcoin ETF is the fastest growing ETF ever. Bitcoin is growing at a faster rate than the internet did in terms of adoption, thanks to the internet. Prior technologies before us helped things to be adopted, whether that be mobile phones, telecommunication, whether that be even motoring and things. There's now kind of more global world, and crypto is taking that to the next step. And we talk about that in a lot of details. We looked at a decentralized AI project yesterday. Very interesting. Instead of sort of pooling miners together to help validate a network, you're pooling AI models to sort of offer a decentralized AI alternative. Very interesting. We spoke about decentralized mail. There's great things going on with the crypto space, but this is from Edit Bound Tunis. Bitcoin ETFs have crossed the 20 billion mark in total net flows. The most important number, most difficult metric to grow in ETF world. For the first time after a huge week of $1.5 billion, that's this week, ladies and gentlemen. For context, it took gold about 5 years to reach the same number. Total assets now at $65 billion. Also a high watermark. You can see IBIT, then you've got Fidelity, you've got ARX Bitcoin, BitB, HODL, Brr, great, and so on and so forth. Grayscale's right down here. It's still outflows in regards to Grayscale. Good news is there that they will run out eventually. Bad news is they are still dumping. And BlackRock very quickly becoming, the largest. I think they will become the largest holder of Bitcoin personally eventually. We had news as well. $1.3 trillion asset manager Morgan Stanley have disclosed, because they have to with the SEC, $272 million worth of Bitcoin ETF holdings. How the tides are turning, or the tables are turning. Also, this week alone, BlackRock bought $1 billion in Bitcoin. It's going to be interesting to see CoinShares report. And when we look at Bitcoin on exchanges, you can see the correlation here. It's really at record low numbers. And this is kind of priming you for what's to come next. So there's been accumulation taking part here. There's a number of technical confluences that we have in relation to Bitcoin, whether that's the fact that you are in a broader uptrend, don't bet against the trend, whether that's the fact that we've got a number of technical targets on both the larger and the smaller timeframes. And you're on the cusp, ladies and gentlemen. You've ran into resistance in regards to this broadening channel that you've been in. You will poke through it. Something like, is it total 3? Is already above it. Something, and this has got a bull flag. You're seeing higher target projections. There's everything outside the top 10 across the board, ladies and gents. Hang in there. I know there's a lot of pessimism when it comes to the crypto space right now, but I do believe your patience will be rewarded. And we did look at Ethereum in relation to the SPY and said it's on a very similar trajectory. This is good. I like this. Very, very much like this. I think this is going to squeeze and ultimately result in higher prices. This just looks like the S&P before it went on the journey that we predicted, by the way, and it's ultimately got a similar future ahead of it. Things are about to get pretty explosive. I think there's a lot of people that are very much doubting the cryptocurrency space, but your patience, in my opinion, will be rewarded. And of course, take your own financial decisions as your own financial decisions. Don't let anybody somebody told you to jump off a cliff, don't do it. I'm sure you're smart enough not to do that. So always be sort of mindful. We looked at a number of sort of cryptos that were sort of similar. Breakout, retest, ready for that continuation. ICP, one of our favorite projects. Doge doing very well. Somebody tried to clown us for saying that meme season was coming in regards to looking at these falling wedges for the two major memes, Shiba and Doge. Oh boy, you're higher today. Lots of positive things when it comes to the crypto space, ladies and gents. You just got to be in it to win it. Hang in there. Your patience shall be rewarded. And on that note, I'm going to love and leave you to your Fridays. Behave yourselves over the weekends, or don't. It's always an absolute pleasure to talk to each and every one of you. I want to say a massive thank you before I wrap things up. There's a lot of content creators when it comes to crypto really struggling in regards to their viewership. We seem to be doing very well, certainly in relation to these daily market updates, and that's thanks to you guys. So a massive thank you from the bottom of my heart to each and every one of you that support this channel. Means the world to me. And we will not let you down. That's it from me, ladies and gents. Have a fantastic Friday. See you all in the next one.